استراحة الآن.
Hello everyone, how are you all going? Welcome in for the Persian Air Force facing off against ACRgVAW in their joint team. First things first, you know the drill. It's time for a map roll. Now, important to note is that we have Syria and Caucasus as options today, but the Syrian maps are numbered 12 to 16, I believe. So we'll roll 12, but if it's above 6, we'll add 12. If it's above 6, we'll add 6 to it, so we get the Syrian version of the map. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, but it's Caucasus anyway, of course, and GVAWX ACR picked heads, which is the number 1 on a 2-sided die. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, so it is the GVAW going to be picking their starting side on... Which Caucasus map is this? This is... Overcast afternoon with rain. Ooh, okay. Hopefully everyone's got their IFR rating today. Tbilisi versus Sukhumi. WTR 2. Perfect. The Kraken has pulled you back into a Kerbal Space Program phase, has it? Oh boy, what else has everyone else been up to? Ain't that just a coin? Yeah, but I don't have a coin that's as easy to show. All right, and I'll let them know. GVAW. We have everything set up quite neatly today, and everything's looking good. Did you guys know that the boys over at the 51st PVO and gals have secured themselves a new sponsor as well? Announced just earlier that they are being supported by Orbix, and the Cola map will be serving as the battleground for the SATAC 25 finals, which is very exciting. Have any of you guys flown on Cola? What'd you think? All right, cool. Let's get you guys something nice to look at here, as everything's set up and good to go. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling happy. I'm feeling comfy. I'm feeling pretty. And I've got a SATAC match to show you. Make sure that TAC view is connected as well. And we're starting to look like we've got a match. As over on the red corner, we have the members of the Persian Air Force. Aria Mehr? Is that Aria Mehr? Or please let me know if I mispronounced that. Ghost Dagger, Azrael, Horus, Eric, and Arash. So that is 5 F-16s and an F-18. And they have beautiful Iranian Air Force liveries to go with them. Thanks for streaming, SATAC. It's my pleasure. Thank you for being here to watch it. Meanwhile, in the blue corner, we have some familiar faces. Murazan, Sarah Brave, Cookie, Maligator, Haka, and Rio. And every single one of them is in an F-16. But of course, because this is a combination of teams here, we will probably see some combination of GVAW and ACR aircraft as well. I'm thinking about the kind of music we might listen to today. What are we thinking? Are we thinking funky, or are we thinking punchy? Are we thinking rocky? You know? You tell me what you guys are vibing with, and I'll come up with something, alright? Oh. The trouble with an international competition is that these servers provided by Master Arm and located in Germany, whilst very good, are a long way away for some people. Everyone work through your final checklists. Everyone make sure your data links are connected. Make sure you're on the right radio frequencies if you're using SRS. What about some funk? This might be a total dud. Let's try this. We're going to ride this for a minute and we're going to see what happens, okay? So, for those of you not familiar, welcome to SATAC. It's a competition that I've hosted for a number of years, along with a number of other streamers. Stands for the Squadron Air Tactical... Fuck, I forgot. It's a 6v6, so 2 teams of 6 can spawn in any plane that they like. And the only limitations are that you can bring a maximum of 4 AMRAAMs and no AIM-9Xs. Beyond that, everything is fair game. They're competing for control over this central circle. So we have this green ring here, which is representation of the actual circle, and this red buffer zone outside of it. Whichever team is left standing in the circle or occupies it uncontested for 5 minutes secures the victory and wins one of the rounds of the best of 3, but with the caveat that they have to be able to fly back home. Squadron Air Championship, that's right. It's SATAC that does the tactical... I forget what it is anyway. Hey Blue, how are you? I can't believe I forgot that. Oh. Looks like we've got triple bags on the one F-18. Everyone's bringing an F-16 today. Some really fantastic BVR combat I think you'll see today, along with a lot more merges than you might think in a scenario that equips people with Fox 3 missiles. And look at this. Everyone with the exact same loadout here. Triple bagged up on a Friday. Really nervous for your match tomorrow? 71st versus HDA. That's going to be an interesting one. Spade's covering that one. I'm doing 25th Warehouse facing off against Nemesis tomorrow. And looks like the Blues are reported ready, and don't they look gorgeous in the line like that? I think it's because of the F-14 style livery. Does look really nice, doesn't it? No, this is way too relaxed. There we go. So what have you guys got planned this weekend? Please regale me with your tales. My partner comes home from a work thing. Oh, one sec. Looks like a member of the PAF has disconnected, so they're just replacing him right now. Haka, Rio, Malagator, right at the front, DCS Indonesia. And he jettisons his tanks so that they can replace them. Got to sit in the cockpit for just a little bit longer while the PAF regather one of their members. Get a damn haircut, homework, and maybe some Monhun. Oh. I heard that once you finish the storyline, like the main story plot of Monster Hunter Wilds is like all tutorial. And then once you actually finish the story, it like lets you actually play the real game. DCS campaign over Cola. Flight training, visiting Kansas City. Busy? Golly. The aviation-packed weekend. Kansas City. Why is it called Arkansas and not Arkansas? That's a question that's bothered me for years. Both teams, of course, supported by their E3 sentries, which will provide them with data link, along with all the GCI services you can possibly require. So the PAF are in line, waiting for their last member to join. Interestingly enough, no one's bringing jamming pods. With all these F-16s, I would have expected it. What did Tennessee? I don't know. What did Tennessee? America, explain. So let me close my blinds here because it is getting blinding. Looks like Eagle is coming in to pick up the slot, so we will be getting going shortly. Vermont. What in Tennessee? What Arkansas? Arkansas. Oh. That's like the worst D's nuts ever. The Pacific, Walter Whitman, Jodo Maggio. Joe McCarthy, Richard Nixon, Lulu Baker, Television, North Korea, South Korea, Marilyn Monroe. Did I ever tell you guys the story about the time I got stuck in an elevator? Yeah. Now I take steps to avoid them. I think I got that from a joke book in like the 80s when I was a tiny little Aspie, and I thought reading joke books would help me fit in with the other kids. I did pretty much exactly the same thing. It's nice to make people laugh, though. Alright, Eagle. Let's get you set up and get you towards the runway. Third graders were not as impressed as you thought they would be. Yeah, but third graders are very difficult to impress. In my experience, you could show a third grader, like, you know, a really, really cool fighter jet or something like that, and they'd be bored out of their mind. But if you found, like, a really interestingly shaped rock, they would get excited about it. So, you know... PAF ready when? Well, they're just waiting for one more player to reconnect after a disconnection. So better that it happens now than in the match. It's alright. A man is attending a funeral and he says to the window... fuck, no, I messed it up. A man is attending a funeral and he says to the widow, "Do you mind if I say a word?" She tells him to go ahead. He says, "Plethora." "Thank you," she replies. "That means a lot." Would anyone in middle school even really like sexy fighter jets? Well, I hope people in middle school aren't thinking about anything too sexually. Come on, Eagle. Get those weapons on your wings and let's get you moving. I'll even forgive you for putting sidewinders on the wingtips. That's incorrect. Reminds me of a story. Or rather, something important my granddad said to me before he kicked the bucket. He said, "You want to see how far I can kick this bucket?" What do you get for the man who has everything? Penicillin. What did the green grape say to the say to the purple grape? It's okay, man, just breathe, breathe. You bring the biplane in the background? What, the AN2? The unstallable aeroplane? Let's see it. There it is. Interestingly enough, this aircraft has an infamously low stall speed. In fact, to the point where I think if it's a very mildly windy day, it's actually impossible to stall because it requires such little airflow. And not quite true, that fairy name not telling. There have been examples of armed AN2s. Eagle's nearly here, nearly here. Thank you for your patience, everyone. Just be the weapon. I had to go at writing an action novel once that had to do with airplanes. And yeah, I didn't write much of it. I mostly just wrote it for the fun of writing it. But it has this, it has a plot point where there's an F-16 being chased by an Su-27, and they have no way of, like, getting him off his tail. So they contact infantry on the ground, and they get as many drone operators as they can, you know, the FPV drones and stuff like that. They get them all to take off at the same time and have the good guy fly right over the top of them, and then they all send up their drones, and the bad guy plane that's chasing them gets exploded in this big drone fireball. Okay, both teams ready. Get set. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go, go, go. And there we have it. Welcome in, Yurosaki Raijin. How are you going? Welcome in. You picked the perfect time to arrive, as we are just starting the first round of today's SATAC match. Okay. Just a touch of desync for a second there. But it looks like the 3 leaders for the GVAW are taking off, and then the 3 behind them will follow. Those takeoffs look a little bit more squirrely than they actually are. Okie dokie. Meanwhile, the last members of the Persian Air Force are taking off. Where is Johnny Bravo? Oh, look, Spade. Alright, we need some battle music as Hacker and Rio start heading south and Maligator leads the charge up to the north. Perfect. Are the PAF people actually from Iran? Yes, they are. Yes, the PAF is an Iranian team, and currently the joint teams of GVAW and ACR are currently represented entirely by members of GVAW who are from Indonesia. So it's an international match as the Indonesians face off against the Iranians. Golden Crown and PAF, yes. And both of the teams actually in my experience, have been really good fun and really professional too. I don't know what it is about that part of the world, but they produce some really, really good and quite friendly pilots. It's always a pleasure to have them flying with us and flying for us. GVAW, I feel like, has grown into one of my favorite teams over the years just because of how reliable they are. Whenever I need to get them to get ready for a match or anything like that, they're always joining on the spot. Very professional as well. In fact, both teams today. Really organized, really on the spot. So, I don't know if I can pick a favorite, but I know you guys can. Here's a poll for round one. Do you think the PAF or GVAW are going to win this one? We'll leave that running for 5 minutes. Okie dokie. So, Haka and Rio, close formation in the south. Cookie and Maligator in the north in a looser formation, but they're sticking to each other. And through the middle, Murazan and Cerebrave. We didn't have Cerebrave in the last ACRxGVAW match. Or at least I don't think they competed in all of the rounds. So we're excited to see them fly. Aorus is leading this. He's leading the fight here. Who's your favourite? In terms of teams, in SATAC teams, who's my favourite SATAC team? Anyway, if you're here from Urasaki Rage, and thank you very much. Thank you for the support and thank you for sharing your community with mine. And enjoying this competition with all of us. Arash has already ditched the wing tanks, burning along at an absolute slapping pace. As Red enters the battle area, that is the PAF taking control of the battle zone, followed very shortly by the blue team, who will contest the point, and that will mean that we are up for a fight. Hacker leading the southern group. Traveling at... Let's see, how fast are you going? 740 knots at an altitude of 40,000 feet. That's enough speed to launch a missile pretty far. They are 85 nautical miles away. They'll have them on data link, but their radars won't be able to catch them just yet, I don't think, unless they're lucky. Your favorite airshow is Evil Airshow. It's an F-15? No, I have an evil counterpart. It's a J-11. Evil Chinese Airshow. So, Aorus and Ghost Dagger, both in F-16s. Aorus only at 23,000 feet, Ghost Dagger at 30,000 feet. Not really matching up to the speed and altitude of Hacker and Rio in the south. Cookie and Maligator now at 43,000 feet, and also traveling really fast. Wasting no time to get up to altitude here. Eric is at 42,000 feet and is going to meet them. You see, the problem is having a name like Airshow. Every time there's an airshow, you wonder if people are talking about you. But no, usually it's just cool planes that aren't me. That's okay, I'll survive. Looks like Hacker is actually descending now, dropping below 30,000 feet without firing the missile. dipping beneath Rio here. So I think Hacker is going to be the one who's going to try and catch and defend against any incoming missiles. Murazan and Cerebrave facing off against Eric, Eagle, and Arash straight down the middle. Eric, the only one above 40,000 feet, Arash and Eagle below 30. Maligator fires the first AIM 120 of the match at 43,000 feet, traveling at the best speed he can. Looks like it's a 31 nautical mile shot against Eric, who's at 40,000 feet and has replied. Will he go defensive? That's the question. Missile doesn't loft either. Hacker and Rio fire their first missile towards the southern group at 30 nautical miles. But it's going to have a hard time catching Ghost Dagger and Aorus, who are already beaming the missile. Eric here, going to have a real problem with this missile. It's going to be still traveling really fast. 1,500 knots at 30,000 feet. It looks like GVAW are the favorites for the first round. Missile gets dragged down into the thicker air. It looks like Eric might have gotten away with it. How about the missile heading towards the southern group? Heading towards the terrain and not traveling at a huge amount of speed. The 120 fired in response towards Maligator and Cerebrave. Also pretty much out of speed, and it's just going to hang up here in the air until it meets its inevitable end. Rio pushing now. With only 4 AMRAAMs to work with, you have to make every single one of them count. These long-range shots are useful for positioning, but you've got to make sure you get the best PK out of it as you can. As Rio peels off after firing his second AIM 120. Looks like it's heading towards the southern group, with Eric at 35,000 feet firing a 120 in response. So, one missile climbing up to altitude, one missile climbing down to altitude. Rio manages to turn cold against the missile, but Eric has once again got to contend with a fast missile trying to catch up with him on high. Will he get lucky a second time? It's looking like he might. It's going to be close. It's going to be really close. What the... Okay. Alright, that is the worst possible outcome. Missile goes dumb at the last possible second, probably within proximity fusing range. Eagle managing to juke a missile by centimeters, but Harker's missile, fired into the central group, manages to take down Arash, the F-18, the first to go down on the side of the PAF. An AIM 120 shot towards the northern group, but it looks like it's at about 35 nautical miles, and was not fired at high enough altitude for it to have any real effect. Maligator pushing down now. Maligator presses the attack as Eric fires off yet another missile. Eric's managing to stay up at altitude, but it looks like he's descending below 20,000 feet now. Rio, Harker, Eagle trading missiles with each other. Maligator getting quite close to Eagle now, 5 nautical miles, and manages to catch him right in his sights, fires a missile off at relatively close range. That 120 is not going to have a hard time finding its target. Let's see if he gets away. He's setting cold against it. It was about a 5 nautical mile shot, and it looks like Maligator's going to chase him. Maligator right on the 6 of this unfortunate member of the PAF as he fires a missile. Another one going out towards his target as Maligator manages to take out Azrael as well. Looks like the missile's not quite going to make the distance to Eagle unless he notches it. And Eagle gets splashed as well. Dagger now pinched on both sides by members of GVAW. Harker having to contend with the 120 fight at close range. Maligator takes out Eagle. This 120 going to be a tricky one to get away from. Manages to spice it up a little bit. Maligator right behind him. AIM 9 comes off the wings. No more 120s left. Does it have the range to make it to the PAF plane? It does. meaning Eric's the last one alive, but Eric gets splashed. Eric goes down, and that means that Aorus in the northern group is the last one left. Meanwhile, we still have 5 members of GVAW up in the sky. Cookie pushing in now towards Aorus, who has just had an AIM 120 pushed out. Hopefully has some countermeasures. Looks like this missile actually may have been notched. It was for a moment there, but it just picked its track back up. Going to be able to get away from this one. And just dodges it by centimeters. Another insane dodge. Unbelievable. Hopefully this AIM 120 isn't heading towards Cookie. It is, but it doesn't have the legs to go and get him. Aorus now facing down the barrel of Cookie. It's right off his nose. Fires off his last AIM 120. Aorus starts dumping countermeasures. And manages to spoof the 120. Where did that 120 go? We're going to have to see what happened to that in the TAC view. Cookie now in the winning position on the tail of the PAF member, but is down to heat seekers. Only just the one AIM 9 left. If this one doesn't get the result, he'll be down to gun. The AIM 9 comes off the wings. Can Aorus pull enough Gs to get away from it? No, he can't, and Aorus goes down. Well, that all happened very quickly. I think we need to have a look at the TAC view and catch some of the stuff that we might have missed in all of the battling here. So, let's see what happened. So, the first one we didn't see go down was ACRxGVAW. Look at this dodge. So many insane dodges today. This 120 traveling at Mach 1.6 managing to get thrown off by ACRxGVAW. I'm just retracing the path of what happened in the match. Azrael getting pushed out really far into the north and not really being able to get involved in this central fight here. Rio and Haka managing to put pressure on super hard, and there's no coverage against Maligator, who manages to push right up the center. So we see now that Haka and Rio, the two in the southern group, stuck together, but Murzan actually broke off here and is supporting the members of the southern group while Maligator is defending. And as Maligator is out of position after that defense, now has the security to push into the central zone at a decent enough altitude to get off some pretty good shots. Maligator saw a great opportunity here. I think that across this central axis here, right down the middle, if you have a look from the top down, every single member of the PAF is either facing north towards Cerebrave or south towards Hacker. There's no one actually looking towards Maligator's direction until he gets close enough to start engaging at close range, and because everyone's defending as hard as they can down here, Maligator managed to sneak in undetected. It's very hard to keep track of where everyone is. And it looks like this was a long-range shot. Look at this shot from Maligator. Maligator at 23,000 feet manages to spot Azrael up here, rifle off a 120, climbs all the way up to 48,000 feet. It's traveling at Mach 2.1, 1.9, manages to snipe Azrael out of the air at above 35,000, 34,000... 32,000 feet. An excellent, excellent kill. And while that missile is going out and killing Azrael, he's pushing right into ACRxGVAW. So as we were watching this missile take out ACRxGVAW, Maligator was also in the process of shooting down their high cover. Great support. Haka only has to defend here. Maligator is straight in behind Ghost Dagger. Manages to get the A9 shot. The range only 2 nautical miles, even less. And you're just not going to get away from it. Eric gets splashed while Maligator's pushing here. And who fired the missile? What done it? It was Rio. You see this, if you watch SATAC and you think, well, they're just winning dogfights, you know, it's just 1v1s all the way through. This is what teamwork looks like. This is what proper teamwork looks like. Rio turns defensive. Haka is now attacking the position where Rio got attacked from. Rio defeats the missile and Haka fires in return and starts defending. Rio then proceeds to start attacking again. Once Haka knows the missile's defeated, also starts attacking in line with Rio, but now has a missile out, but Rio knows that the missile's not at him because Haka is getting the alert. Gives Rio time to cover off and get close enough for a missile shot and a textbook shoot down at good range. But not with this missile, the next one. As they continue this grinding process. So while Rio does get shot down here, it is in a worthy exchange with Eric, who gets caught out at 23,000 feet. A mutual destruction between the two. So a spectacular round all round, I think. Everyone did really well there. But GVAW, they have their finger on the trigger. They have their eye on the ball. What GVAW, in my experience of watching them at least, seem to do, and what they seem to really be good at, is breaking up hostile formations. So, I think within that fight, even though the individual pairs of members, the wingmen in the team of 6, did get broken up between GVAW, they found each other and they recommitted in a similar fashion in support of one another. And that means that, most importantly, I think, it means that everyone knows where they're supposed to be. And that's half the battle sometimes, is knowing where you're supposed to be. And then GVAW just lofts these missiles straight into the middle of enemy formations, and they, because all of the enemies get stuck into this mindset of defending against missiles, losing altitude, they kind of get into this mixing furball of targets that GVAW then squeezes in on from the sides. I think the PAF, if I had to give them any advice, it would just be to make sure that not everyone is defending at the same time. Because they did appear to have these moments of lacking as much coverage as they could have, which I think was the gap that Maligator managed to squeeze through. You understand? You want SATAC Cold War back again? I want to see those fights get personal. I'm waiting for SATAC 3rd generation. I want to see a team consisting of Mirage F1s, F4 Phantoms, MiG-21s, Just take the time to remember to yourself as well. Every single person in every one of these planes is someone sitting at a desk somewhere in the world with their OTAS or whatever control scheme they're using, taking the time to learn and understand what is quite a complex process of operating one of these aircraft, and then applying that skill to engage in friendly international competition. Something about that is very heartening to me. I just love it. Oh, look. Maybe I'll have to host a competition one day. We'll call it Airshow's Air Show. The only problem is that 51st PBO is much better at organising this than I am. So maybe it's better that I continue to be a pretty face and they take care of all of the big brain, smart thinky stuff. Number of people that need thanking as well, like AlphaGator and Special K and his DCS server bot, without which this entire process would be excruciating. Takes a lot of effort learning DCS. It does. It does, and then the application of that knowledge under stress is, it's a thrill ride, you know? After 3 landing, focus on Murazan and Cookie. Okay. Will do. And there we have Cookie and the rest of the team getting rid of their spare countermeasures. Hey, that's a fire risk. But it looks like the members of GVAW have managed to secure the first round. And not only do they take a moment to show off, but then after doing that, they almost instantly all manage to find their way back home, except for Murazan, who I think just crashed into the ground. What about Cookie? Murazan, what did you do to yourself? I think Murazan crashed on short final. Yes, he did. Okay. We'll just watch this landing as the exploded parts of Murazan roll by. So in case you missed it, here's Murazan. And sometimes you're on short final and you hit a really big bubble of wake turbulence, and after decimating the enemy team, you hit the ground. Got too silly with it. Yep, it happens. Alright guys, it's time for us to get ready for round number 2. That means a little bit of admin and behind the scenes for me, and it means for you that you get to hear a word from our sponsors. That is Master Arm.
Running a dedicated DCS server can be complex, time-consuming, and expensive. And after all that effort, you still might not get the smooth, seamless experience you're looking for. That's why virtual pilots and virtual squadrons choose Master Arm as a ready for immediate use solution and for peak efficiency. With low latency, high stability, and uncompromising performance, Master Arm ensures that every maneuver, every decision, and every shot counts. Stay mission ready. Fly with confidence. Master Arm has your six. Get your server at www.masterarm.de.
And always great to... No, your flight control system is disconnected. Oh, well, that happens. All right, while we prepare for the round to go on, we'll do a quick be right back while we play some ads and get ourselves ready to go. All right, guys, we'll be right back. Hello everyone and welcome back. As we watch the teams swap sides, we can catch a glimpse of GVAW staring directly into the late afternoon sun on this overcast day in the Caucasus region. No major shakeups I've seen so far in terms of loadout and players. We've got Hacker, Rio, Maligator, Cookie, Bravo Strom, and Murazan. So it looks like we've had a swap out with Bravo Strom stepping in. And Murazan now with controls connected here to cause yet more havoc, managing to sneak right into the exposed belly of the GVAW team. Meanwhile, we have Arash, Azrael, Ghost Dagger, Eagle, Eric, and Aorus in the same stack of planes that they had last time. Yeah, I'll turn the music down. Sorry about that. My apologies, I just have to respond to something in the background. Okay. That takes care of that. And the PAF are beginning to move their way towards the runway. Thank you for the follow, Nobru and David N. Much appreciated. And Droel as well, thank you. There'll be plenty of SATAC matches over the weekend as well. Tomorrow, we will have HDA facing off against Devony First. That'll be covered by Spade at 1500 Zulu. And then at 1800 Zulu, I'll be covering the 25th Warehouse facing off against Nemesis. And Sunday at 1300 Zulu, covered by 81 Bananas, they have AIN facing off against Storks. And at 1800 Zulu, you have me covering the 52nd PVO fighting TFT. The 52nd PVO is very exciting. It's relatively new. How you got into this game? Which goofy 3DS game got you into DCS? You see, I've been playing flight sims forever. I remember playing Chuck Yeager's Warbirds and B-17 the Mighty Eighth in the early 2000s. And then I remember when DCS first released. It wasn't called DCS at the time. I remember when Black Shark came out, because it was just the KAR-50 back in the day. There were no other aircraft, it was just the KAR-50, and it was called Black Shark. And it only became DCS when they added the A-10. And I remember buying Black Shark and then getting confused because I wanted to play Black Shark, but it had since turned into DCS. Pilot Wings Resort? Ah. And I had to figure out what DCS was. And then, you remember back in that era where, like, people would You're like, look, it's the most complex thing ever. And it would be old videos of people flying the A10 in DCS when it first came out, and they're like, how does anyone know how to do any of this? You don't play DCS or Sims, but someone rated SATAC a couple of weeks ago and brought me here. It looks cool, so you stick around? Thank you. I hope you enjoy yourself. Mirazan is a legend for running on a 1650. He's on a 1650? Jesus. Hopefully Eagle is able to get a move on shortly. Here's a little bit of DCS trivia for you. Which module was the first one to be developed by a third-party developer? How potato do his settings need to be? I have no idea. I have good days and bad days of running DCS. You're going to guess the Mirage 2000? Ooh, good guess, but not quite. Yes, you got it in the second one. It was MiG-21. There'll be another poll for who you're supporting in this round. And it was developed by Leatherneck Simulations, I think. But that company was rolled into... was it Heatblur or Razban? I think... Is it Heatblur that are caretakers of the MiG-21 now? Eagle manages to get where they need to be, and Cookie reports that they're ready. We'll watch the PAF take off today. Vigan has the Leathernecks logo and all that too. Okay. Both teams ready. Get set. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go, go, go. And there we have it. The beginning of round 2. The PAF, the underdogs, fighting against GVAW here. And off they go. Nice clean takeoffs for the first pair. ACRx leading the way. Hey Harm, how are you? And Bravo Strom takes off. Rio, the last in line. Watching his colleagues take off into the sky. Rio makes their way off the runway as Cookie and Maligator head south Parker heads north, Murazan and Bravostrom heading middle. Azrael and Ghost Dagger take off. Arash in the F-18, the last one to move, as I nearly crashed my game by pressing the wrong button. They'll become best of fives once we get into the knockout stages, Odyssey. But the group stages are best of threes. The first time ever in hosting SATAC, I've never had teams ask me this before, but I have been asked now for the first time more than once what the temperature on the maps is. And to be honest, I never thought about it. Today it is 10 degrees Celsius. Does temperature play a huge factor in performance? I know it had some impact, but I didn't think it was massive. This Maligator ditches the center line. Thank you, Eagle Eye. Of course, even if it's a dark and gloomy day down on the ground, fly high enough, the weather will give you a miss. Bravo Strom taking over in one of the rounds here. Well, see, I don't know what that's a reference to. Someone's going to have to tell me. Anya Untuk. Maziarkat Miskin. Air densities? Oh, I see. Also affects contrail height. Okay. Good thinking. You guys are clever. You guys know how to fly airplanes or something? How'd you learn? Eric charging down the middle, making their way up to 31,000 feet and afterburning the whole way. Aircraft performed decently better on... Yeah, in fact, it's interesting that so many maps are set in the Middle East, especially in places like Afghanistan. When you're at decent altitude and at a decent temperature, you're flying like something like a helicopter. You notice the massive difference in performance. Red takes control of the battle area, so that means that the members of GVAW are pushing forward hard, and look at this, 44,000 feet. Their comrades in arms. Ghost Dagger and Azrael are going to be the ones to contend with the southern group. F-16s facing off against F-16s. If you were to compete in a SATAC match, what would you bring? And if your answer is F-16, and you couldn't bring an F-16, what would you pick? "83 nautical miles of distance to cover. 82 for the southern group. At 45,000 feet, though, these missiles will go a long way. Comrades in AMRAMs. Yep. Is Cookie lining up for a shot here? I'm desperately keen. The current separation looks like it's 62 nautical miles. I have seen shots at this range before. Eagle facing off alone against the northern group so far. 15E and C. I'd probably bring a Charlie, to be honest. I think I do best in BVR and a F-15C. You want to do sneaking? A Mirage 2000? You know, I've never seen someone take a Mirage 2000. I've only ever seen a Mirage 2000 in SATAC one time. And it was because both teams had already been knocked out. So we agreed that there would be a guns-only match. And the guns-only match started off very funny and ended very funny, as every single person managed to get into one huge line, just 12 planes directly behind each other. Just red, blue, red, blue, red, blue, red, blue, red, blue. And everyone desperately just running out of ammo. Early shots from Eric and Arash, it looks like, heading towards the northern and southern group. And Ghost Dagger and Azrael also fire, so coordinated shots coming from the PAF towards the north, the south, and the center. In fact, this is fantastic. Shows that they've learned because they have experienced just firsthand how aggressive GVAW gets. And I know from casting their matches that this is where they have been caught before. Overextending just a little bit on these aggressive attacks. It looks like GVAW are the favourites for this round. Eagle launches another AMRAM towards Haka at... the Haka's at 5,000 feet. Missiles going in all directions here. Maligator having to defend pretty hard against incoming 120. But has left Cookie a bit of space to work with, as both Cookie and Ghost Dagger trade missiles through the sky. Eagle pushes forward a bit, and Muruzan fires a look-down, shoot-down 120, but may get caught out by this missile, actually. He's a little bit too high to defeat it just by dragging it away. Can hopefully pull a little bit of a shape to get away from this, but it may be a done deal. This missile looks like it's just about found its mark, and it has. The first splash of the match is Eric. Ghost Dagger now contending with Bravo Strom, Cookie, and Maligator, all pushing at the same time. Simultaneous launches between Bravo Strom and Maligator, as Ghost Dagger and Azrael fire at each other. Terrifically coordinated M120 firings. This weather not going to make things easy when it comes to the descent. Got to be careful of the mountains. Azrael launching countermeasures. Quite a lot of them as well. Rio caught a little bit out of position here. Eric in the F-16, though, a little bit not involved in the fight at the moment, especially towards the southern group, as Cookie turns over and shoots again. The sounds of missiles crisscrossing in the air, distinctly audible. This AIM-120 with only 8 nautical miles to cross. And Eagle finally hits the ground and becomes part of the terrain. This missile chasing down the PAF pilot, who's dragged it down to altitude, needs to turn the other direction now to get away from this. It's going to be close, but I think this missile just ran out of speed. No dice. Close, though. Ghost Dagger. Arash contending with the 120 now, getting right up next to him. Evading, but manages to rip his wings off in the defense. Off goes the wing and the F-18 goes down. Spectacularly. The missile might have gotten him anyway, but can he recover? Doesn't look like it, and he and his missile meet the same fate. Meanwhile, Cookie was briefly merged with one of the members of the PAF. Ghost Dagger gets splashed in the southern group. Azrael now alone. Eric having to contend with Haka. Azrael with missiles coming straight for him. Well, hello, Eve. How are you? Welcome in. This is round 2 of SATAC, a 6v6 PvP air battle. So please excuse if there's a little bit of a stream delay. This missile managing to get defeated, but Azrael in serious trouble in this southern group. How is the Great Ghost going today? Welcome in. I hope that you guys were having a good time. Make sure you check them out. One of the members of V-Fleet, who I am a big fan of. Azrael just getting pinched down here in the northern group. His wingman getting taken out. Azrael turns in hot, gets an aim 9 off the wings, straight into the face of one of the members of GVAW. That's one down, but he hits the trees! Oh! An ignominious end after a valiant effort. Eve80, I hope that you're having a good day, and thank you very much for sharing your community with mine. And it looks like Murazan, Haka, and Cookie have managed to secure the win. If you guys are interested in me, this is what I look like. Hello, I'm Asher, the airplane, and I accidentally turned on my blush toggle because I was pressing too many numbers on my keyboard. Welcome in, guys. I hope you're doing well. Mwah. And here is the TAC view. What happened? So Eagle, the first one to go down for the PAF. Getting caught a little bit too high, chasing down Haka down here in the bottom. And Murazan manages to get a high altitude AIM 120 shot. There's not much to this except for the fact that this is pretty much the ideal circumstance to be using AIM 120s. As you can see, this missile seeker goes totally active. And the first splash happens. Arash in the F-18 contending over here. But this is the moment that the wing rip happens. Might have just pulled a little bit too hard there. I hope your sea power education has been going well, Eve. Yeah, I think he just pulled a funny angle there and got himself wrecked. Is this some kind of tournament? Yes, it is. It is SATAC, the Squadron Air-to-Air competition. And these are two teams from all across the world. PAF, the Persian Air Force from Iran, and the GVAW, who are from Indonesia. I want to see what got Eric in the end. You're unfamiliar with this? Oh, that's okay. I'm here to satiate any need for knowledge you may have. And yes, Eric at 35,000 feet earns himself a missile from Haka at 10 nautical miles. And that missile is still at Mach 2.3 as it comes along into his altitude. And at that point, there is not much you can do. In the southern group, Ghost Dagger got splashed here in... No, that's the one he missed by centimeters. Actually might fire it up soon to play with it more. Excellent. The UI is a little bit cumbersome, but when it comes to controlling ships, it's not easy. Ghost Dagger getting caught slightly too high here by Cookie. And Azrael managing to put a valiant defensive effort up, getting chased down desperately by Bravo Strom. And check this out, what a cool move. Azrael sweeps directly underneath the mountain here, breaks the line of sight with the missile and with Bravo Strom, uses the opportunity to pull as hard as possible, avoids the 120 by centimeters. Had he not been pulling as hard as he was, probably would have been hit by that. An amazing dodge. Gets a good off-bore sight AIM 9 shot here. And pulls understandably hard, considering the fact that I wouldn't be surprised if Bravo Strom would have fired a AIM-9 at him, and kabam. But Azrael, as we all have, coming to the clutches of the AIM-1 Greenleaf air defense system. And it looks like GVAW is celebrating, rightfully so. What were you guys and Eve up to today? And for those of you new viewers who are here and don't understand what DCS is, DCS stands for Digital Combat Simulator. It's a sandbox type game where you can buy modules, which are different aircraft, such as these F-16s here. And famously, you interact with the plane in a way that seeks a very high level of realism. Not necessarily accuracy, but they get it as accurate as they can, given the circumstances. And you can go in the cockpit, and every one of these buttons and switches and dials is clickable, and they do what they're supposed to do, usually. You're running a rental car business badly? Huh. Big basketball tournament in America, took off work to watch, but stepped away to watch SATAC. That's a true fan right there. That's not just a fan, that's a turbo fan. That's a little aeroplane joke for all of you guys who like that sort of thing. We didn't make millions and we got our investment stuck, but at least we didn't run the business into the ground. Yeah, I mean, if the CEO of a company, upon self-reflection, has to say about the performance of the fact that the main benefit is the company isn't run into the ground yet, then things may not be going too well. What are the rules for this SATAC? Teams of 6 people can bring any kind of aeroplane they want, but they are limited on the number of missiles. Specifically, these missiles here, these AIM-120s, also known as a Fox 3, because it's got a radar in the nose and it can guide itself, you're limited to a maximum of 4 of those. And you're not allowed to use the most modern version of the AIM-9 Sidewinder that's available in DCS. You're limited to the AIM-9M, which is still very capable all-aspect missile, as you saw in the match just then. So no AIM-9Xs, a maximum of 4 Fox 3s to keep the largest pool of planes competitive within the environment. We learned valuable lessons about personal space. Yeah. And what, pray tell, element of running a car rental business does personal space come into it at all? Flying in formation is so annoyingly hard. I'm sure Indonesia is proud of its boys today. our customers had no concept of personal space. Well, the customer's always right, you know. And I know Anamaki is springing up to his keyboard to say the customer is always right in matters of taste. But nah. Well, if you're looking for well-connected, influential content creators that you might want to collaborate with at some point in the future, you should look somewhere else, because I'm pretty lame. But if you're cool with that... You dig the music for the action? I hope it was okay today. I had a bit of trouble with the music. Had a bit of trouble with everything, but that's okay. I don't know, actually, E1 dude, but to be perfectly honest, you can delete just about anything from the DCS folder and you'll always be able to, just run a repair if something breaks. My DCS install is now at a healthy Big Chungus 800 gigs. I can't believe we're getting treated to an actual overhead break. Wait, I didn't realize that Cookie had already landed. Murzan had already landed, actually. 700, because you don't have it. Well, most of my space is used for SATAC skins. Every single one of these skin packs is about 800 to 800 megs to anywhere up to like 5 gigs. Don't need them hogging your storage. Sensible, sensible. Excellent, excellent. Well, that secures round 2 for GVAW. So have a look at Cookie as he comes in. Glad you're not on deliveries then? Oh, look. It's the price we pay for looking good. Waiting for Cookie to vacate the runway. Oh, what's Maligator doing here? There we go. Nice landing. That's 5 down and safe. GG all. The statement from GVAW. Alright, let's see if anyone wants to have a quick yap with me while we review some of the fight. Okay, it doesn't look like anyone from PAF is available, but we do have some of the members of GVAW here. How are you going?
Hello. Great. It's really great. What a great day.
Hello, Mirazan. How are you going? That was an interesting match. Was it a control disconnection just at the end of the first round that was the crash, or was it the wake turbulence?
Yes, somehow my controller just got disconnected at the last minute, so I cannot control the landing. And proceed to slam the ground.
Well, that happens sometimes. I know I've done that more than once, but the way that it happened almost made it look like you got caught in like a wake turbulence bubble or something. Doesn't matter. We were talking about GVAW tactics now. I feel like I've done enough of your matches that I've got a bit of a grip on your strategy, and I know that you guys like to push really, really hard. It seems to have worked out. Was the plan going as expected, or did you have to improvise for a bit there?
No, I guess. Can I take this one, Murazan?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I guess so. Today we just fight like we train. It's just our normal form. Usually, if our enemy has a tactic that negates that, then we will change the form. But this is just like the usual style of play for us.
Yes, it did seem like you guys were really, really comfortable there, especially functioning in the pairs that you had going. It seems like there was always one attacking and there was always one defending, and then you'd swap right away. Is that the plan? Just getting the grind to work in your favor?
Yeah. So in our squadron we have like little flights. Me and Maligator is a pair, and so on and so on. So we are used to play in 2v2 tactics as well. So it forms a good coordination within those flights, I think.
And this is Cookie speaking at the moment. So Malagat is your pair. What does practicing to work in 2v2s look like? Is it a lot of conversation, or do you guys just know after a while where your partner is and it all just happens automatically?
Yeah, it also comes down to habit. Like at the end of the day, after a lot of practice, like just looking at the data link of the F-16, you already know who's who just based on their habits. I already can guess who's this guy, who's that guy, not only based on the number. And a lot of communication. I guess communication. We just use short brevities and so on.
Absolutely. This is your second victory so far, isn't it? No members of ACR today, though.
Yes, shout out to ACR. They have some unfortunate conditions today. So one of their key members also was injured heavily and so on. And they cannot make it today. So they asked us to take this one.
Absolutely.
And I was like, okay, let's do this and so on.
Well, please wish them all the best, and we hope that things get better for them shortly. We hope to see them flying with you again.
Yes, of course.
We won't have any members of the PAF coming to join us, so if you have any shout-outs you'd like to make or anything you'd like to say, please go ahead. The stage is yours.
Oh, thank you. So, firstly, shout out to ACR. We miss you today, guys. So, get well soon to your members who are injured, and next time maybe you can fly together again. And shout out to 51st for organizing this amazing tournament, and thank you to you, Airshow, for organizing this stream. Your streams is always entertaining. I always watch it like all the time, and
Oh, thank
yeah,
you.
yeah, and the chat section is hilarious, and yeah, and what else? Yeah, any additions from Eagle Eye or Murazan maybe?
Just a quick shout out to our livery maker, Virtual EDF or Jupiter, and to our community as a whole, DCS Indonesia, who always support us every time, any day, with our scrimmage and with our practice. We feel so lucky to have them in our team.
Absolutely. Well, I'm sure
Oh.
they're all very grateful to have you too.
Sorry, another shout out to the Mercs who almost supported us today, but turns out that we didn't. It wasn't necessary, but they're already on standby. So thank you very much for standing by for us, Spade from 51st and Mad Dog.
Good
from
old,
51st.
good old Spade and Mad Dog. All right.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, you guys enjoy your weekend. Congratulations on the victory, and I look forward to see you in the matches to come.
And you too, good luck for
Sure.
your
You too.
future streams.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye, Airshow.
All right. And that's it for today. I hope you guys had good fun. Don't forget to support our sponsors, including Orbix now, who have ensured that the finals will take place on the Kola Peninsula, which will be very exciting. A big shout out and congratulations to Persian Air Force for competing so well. I look forward to their future matches as well. And ACR and GVAW, I think, should be very proud of their effort as well. We're going to draw a line underneath it here, guys. But don't forget that there are more matches this weekend. We have matches at 1500 Zulu and 1800 Zulu on Saturday and Sunday. The early match on Saturday, so the same time as today, in fact an hour earlier than today, will be HDA facing off against the 71st Warcom. 51st Spade will be covering that. Then in the evening at 1800 Zulu, I'll be covering the 25th Warehouse and Nemesis. On Sunday, at 1500 Zulu, AIN and the Storks will be facing off on 81 Bananas channel. And on the evening match on Sunday at 1800 Zulu, I will be covering the 52nd PVO facing off against TFT. So, write it down in your diaries. And if you guys have enjoyed my content, thank you very much for supporting me. You have seen links in the chat for all of the SATAC organizers and where they can be contacted. Make sure that you do. The 51st PVO is a fantastic group. And you can also join in on my Discord, and you can follow me on Twitter. You can subscribe to my YouTube, and you can follow me on Blue Sky. That's it for today, guys. Take good care of yourselves and each other. I will see you later. Bye-bye. Oh my god, Whiskey's coming. If Whiskey's raid lands, then we'll see what happens. I just realized I was going to see what she was up to. What I can do is I can restart the stream. And we can play a little bit of Project Wingman. We'll see if she doesn't cancel it. So, what I might do is I'll end the SATAC stream once Whiskey's pals arrive, and then we will restart it with no delay, and you guys we can play some Project Wingman together. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome in. Sorry for the stream delay. There will be 30 seconds before I can respond to you. You're just catching me right at the end of a competitive DCS tournament between ACR and GVAW and the Persian Air Force. So I hope that you guys are having a good time. But seeing as Whiskey has arrived now, I'm going to end the stream and then restart it so that we can play some Project Wingman if you like, and there won't be any stream delay. So what's going to happen is this stream's going to end and then we'll refresh, okay?